Welcome to Season 2 of Strengths on Fire, the Great Strengths Debate.
Think you know CliftonStrengths? Think again.
This season, we're breaking down the biggest myths,
Challenging conventional wisdom.
and showing you how strengths actually show up in leadership, life, and the messy middle of real work.
Sarah, you want to light these strengths on fire?
Let's light it up! Good morning, Mr. Bill Dipple. How you doing?
Good morning. I just want to say distinctly right now, please rate our podcast if you can possibly jump on, give us a rating or a
review, and subscribe.
Right. Jump right in. I mean, today, ideation overload. Do you have to chase every idea? If you love the idea of that, like figuring out ideation, come give us a review. Come talk to us about it.
You know what? He just turned his developer on himself, ladies and gentlemen, because we got a random email from a podcast promoter. They gave us some tips. I shared it with Bill, and look at, he's implementing them immediately.
I thought I'd throw them all together in the first 30 seconds.
That's
everything
right.
They said, right? Let's
did
make
it.
it. You're not asking for enough call to action. Well, let me, you know what? This entire episode is going to be a call to action.
There you go. A call to action, people. Get up on it. Come, like, review, subscribe, share with your friends. You know someone who needs their strengths? Share this podcast with them today. You know someone who's a popcorn brain? Share this with them today.
Did you hear that sound? That was the sound of podcast radios turning off everywhere. They were like,
well, here, let's give them something to dig their teeth into. Here's my question for you.
I'm in.
What's a small thing that instantly gives you good energy at work?
Music.
Oh, say more.
So it isn't always a new song or something like I have to find something. For me, it's usually if I'm working and I'm producing output and I'm getting folders together or I'm, working with my team to do something. I always inevitably have music going on in the background. And the minute I do that, I have a playlist that for years I've curated and rated that says, these are my favorite songs, but there's 10,000 songs.
Yacht rock?
Yeah, no, it is not. although Scott and I do listen to yacht rock a lot.
I mean, I love yacht rock. I'm not judging.
No, we have yacht rock on all the time. And they just made it so that it's all year long. And honestly, I think that sucks. I mean, yacht rock needs to be a summer exam. And then when it's on, you're like, oh my God, it's back. Yes. And now, I get now all year you can hear the, oh yeah. The DJ on yacht rock. Oh, smooth.
Oh
today,
man, I'm so
right?
uncomfortable right now.
He's so good. I mean, it's such a good, right?
It's a little cringy.
There's just some music and it'll pop up on that rotating playlist I have where it's an old schooler, it's something and I'm just, oh man, that instantly makes me feel good, right? I love that. Yeah.
Well, I have it for a selfish reason because as you know, I am working toward doing more keynotes, and my keynote is the Good Energy Club. And I'm reworking it a little bit, of course, because I'm in a course to do it so I can sharpen my skills. And so I was using you as sort of a pollster to see what gives you good energy. And funny enough, the new way that I do my talk at the very end, there is a crowd sing-along to Sweet Caroline. So we have that music thing.
I'm not even sure Sweet Caroline wouldn't make that list for me. Like it would come on and I'd take a pause because James Taylor's version of it is just phenomenal. And one of those that I'd be like, ooh, I like this song. So,
it is actually proven to raise your energy if you sing the words to a song that you know all the words to.
Interesting.
Wow. So if you're ever looking for a mood boost, put on one of your favorite songs that you know all the words to and let yourself just sing right along with those words. And that should elevate your energy a little bit. So you're welcome, everybody.
What? Regarding the words component, I memorized a pretty tough song that's done by The Devil Makes Three. It's a bluegrass band, but they tend to go real fast. And it's a song I like. I appreciate it. It's a little edgy, I guess, but it's also a fun rhyme lyric that goes quick. One of my grandkids, the one I keep taking to golf, was like, do you know any song every all the way through? And fortunately, because of all the music in my life, I know a lot of songs all the way through. Like the word for word. And I agree with you when I sing them, I feel great.
Yeah.
But that's a hard one. And he was like, well, let me hear it. So I put that one on to impress him. Now, every time we drive, he puts it on and he's learning it stanza by stanza so that we can sing it together.
Oh my gosh, that point of connection is
sweet.
beautiful.
It's
Also,
so great.
connection, something to raise your energy.
There you go. There you go.
You can see where this is going.
I do. And I love that he asks, like I got it and he goes, can we play the Rover song? And I'm like, yes, we can. Right. Yeah. For those, if you're a Devil Makes Three fan, it's Spinning Like a Top. So is the name of the song. And he's digging it. We drive, we listen, we sing it, we move on. So yeah, I love it. So I think we should break right in and talk about our guest today.
Let's do it.
Now that I know that, you're using me as a poll,
That's right. I'm using you for
component.
selfish reasons.
Let's bring another pollster in that you can, selfishly bring under the fold and see where that goes. So today we get to welcome to the podcast Carrie Chandler. She is a friend of mine, someone I've known for some time, but a long-term strengths enthusiast, and also somebody that I am working with now at a bank here in Reno. She is the director of HR at this bank, and I cannot tell you how much it means to me that the director, when I walked in, was like, oh my God, I've taken strengths. And the director of HR, I've taken it. I know it. I love it. I can't wait to use it. And to have that inside push for some of the C-suite. Yeah. It means a lot. It makes it really go well. So Carrie, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and for being that inside champion. Welcome.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here. I actually, of all the assessments that are out there, from DISC to Myers-Briggs to Caliper to all of them, StrengthsFinder is by far my favorite, and it is the most applicable. It's the most relatable for individuals, and it seems to be the one that resonates the most and it just carries them forward in a really positive direction. So thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for saying that, because we also agree with you. And I love to have a director of HR on here saying, it's the best, my friend. So chalk one up in the winning column over here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Carrie, hit us with your top 10 if you can. So while people are listening, they can start hearing the signs of that incredible learner and futuristic you bring. So let's hear it.
So learner, futuristic, woo, arranger, strategic, individualization, input, responsibility, and belief.
Right. Perfect. And she has ideation under individualization, which leads directly to our topic today, right? It's another one. And so, by the way, congratulations on sharing. Carrie and I realized we get along really well when we're talking about how to work. Our woo and individualization together is on fire on a regular. Woo vigilate, however I can put that together. Individual, I don't know. So, but every time we get together and start talking about it, it is, Carrie and I just hit on all cylinders. And I see that as such a really positive experience when I'm working with you and how we step on that. But we're going to talk about ideation today and the creation or the thought around ideation overload. Do you have to chase every idea? Like every time something comes up, you got to jump into it. So for instance, we talked about moving forward. Someone introduced us to work together and bang, you were ideating. You were like, oh, I see this. I can make this happen. This can work. We can. And then you and I have pivoted a little bit back and forth about how we might work within the bank and how we expand in certain ways and how we do things. So it's a simple question, but it's a thought concept. Ideation overload. Do you think you suffer from that from time to time?
No doubt.
You tricked me in how you said that. I thought you were going to say no.
I was like, she's going to go no. I'm
Oh, okay.
Absolutely 100%. I have this pull so strongly to want to chase every single many ideas that come my way. And it's really a challenge because, I have learner and input and, all those, fact finding, learning new ideas. And so whenever I have an opportunity to learn something new or somebody brings something to my attention, that is just a really big pull for me. Yeah. So yeah, big fat
Okay,
yes.
can I ask you an out of the box question?
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm an out of the box person.
I am thinking
There she goes.
about social media right now because
Okay.
what I'm hearing from you is I feel like, I don't know if you use social media,
Yeah.
but I feel like that could be the most exciting and most dangerous place for you because I could see the learner input ideation being like seeing a TikTok or seeing an Instagram reel or seeing something on Facebook or LinkedIn and being like, oh, that is so cool. We could do this, this, and this. And then it like scrolls to the next thing. You're like, oh my God, that's so cool. We could do this, this, and this. And like just having this like factory mode of like, yes, yes, yes. And then get off in there being like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted now because, or I don't know, like, does that happen to you? And then does it give you energy to go execute things? Or are you just like, well, now I'm totally overwhelmed or I'm excited? Like, is that a thing for you?
So from social media, my algorithms, because of my learner, I end up bringing up a lot of things that I'm interested in pursuing and in my future. So because of the futuristic.
Yes.
And so my algorithms have brought up all of these people who are pushing things to like learn and grow and new ideas. And because I do, have some long-term goals, those things are popping up and they are absolutely pulling me. And some have hooked me and some I have said, okay, Carrie, you have so much on your plate already. You just need to not engage in this, but I'll click on it when, they'll hook me and then I'll click on it and be like, oh, what are they talking about? What's that idea? And then I'll watch like 15 minutes of their presentation and I'll be like, okay, how much is it? No, never mind. Yeah. And then I'll back out of it. But now it's in my algorithm and it just keeps pushing at me all the time. So yes, Sarah, very valid point. So true.
Carrie needs some coaching is what I'm sensing. Oh, wait, fortunately you hired me. So, I get to, but I love that Sarah's so smart to pick up on the social component. And I think what all of us would look at as one of the problems with social media, at least something we all look at to define, is it a problem, right? Is it ongoing? Mm-hmm. And which personality types or which themes would really get sucked into that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And ideation, I think, absolutely qualifies. Something I noticed on your report, and I find really fascinating too, is Sarah and I both have Activator in our top 5. We activate really fast. And again, for listeners, if you have high Activator, hey, here's a project. Good. On it. Go. Ready. Don't need to know time, money, nothing. I'm got it. I'm ready. Mm-hmm. So Sarah and I started a podcast. That's what Activator looks like, right? Mm-hmm. But Activator for you is a bit lower. It's actually down maybe in the floor, maybe a little lower out of that.
15.
It's 15.
Yeah. And I would say often some people would confuse ideation and Activator, that they're kind of similar because ideation people are really internalizing a lot of things at one time and all these ideas are coming. And we joked about it, but many Gallup coaches call that the popcorn brain because there's a great idea out and another one is out before that one hits the ground. Mm-hmm. But it can look like Activator, like I'm on it. I don't write go, push. And your description of social media follows that a little bit. Oh, I'm going to jump right into that. I'm going to see it. I want to hear it. Oh, you know what? I activated long enough. I'm out. Goodbye. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious from your point of view, because you have a little background in Gallup too. Do you think that Activator rises up and supercharges that ideation sometimes? Or do you think what you're doing is just pure ideation? It's great thoughts. I want to keep moving on it. I just want to see it and hear it. How do you see that play out for you?
I think the activator comes up with that and futuristic.
Oh, go on.
Right. Because, so, I have this vision of my future, in the second half of my career. And, so, it's pulling me to activate and bring that activator up because I've got these ideas. But what I'm trying to do is really use my strategic theme and a ranger theme to put it in the right order. Because as we haven't gotten there yet, but my floor, I don't have a lot of breaks. So so we can talk about that, but I definitely am trying to be mindful and leverage my strategic strength, and a ranger to put things in the right order so that I'm successful. So yeah.
I could see from what you're saying, I hear futuristic, arranger, ideation looking like that activator sometimes. Like I feel like that arranger, because arranger is really good at sort of coordinating chaos and moving the pieces, and it can move. It wants to move. It's an executing theme.
Yes.
So that's something I'm curious about for you is the difference between having ideas, which I see all those you have 5 strategic thinking themes, including ideation. So tell me about the difference between having ideas and executing ideas. You have 3 executing themes. How does that work for you? Do you find that you have ideas and you execute them? Do you have more ideas than you're executing? What is your balance between having and doing?
My balance between having and doing is my husband.
Say more.
Go on. Yes.
So I have, well, backing to your question, I, have a lot of ideas. I do realize because of my responsibility and I can't do everything. But I do tend to want to start ideas because they're super fascinating, and I'll want to start a lot of ideas quickly. And because I can do a lot of things at once with the, arranger and input and manage a lot of different ideas and information. But that doesn't always lead to proper follow through. So
interesting.
Yeah. So my husband is, his second is analytical, and his third is strategic, and his fourth is context. So he is very different than I am. His number 1 is relator, and my third is woo. So we're like,
yeah. And your 34th is relator.
Is relator. Yes.
Correct. Yeah. Yes. So he does help balance me, and sometimes that can come across frustrating for me.
Right, I'm sure, especially his context and your futuristic. So he's thinking about the past to inform the present, and you're thinking about the future to inform the present. I could see him, based on what you said, just being very meticulous in decision making based on information.
Yes.
Gathering information. And you probably have a little bit of alignment with that because you have learner and input, but you're looking to run and he's probably looking to slow down.
Yeah, so I feel like I get a big bucket of cold water dumped on me sometimes.
Great description.
Carrie, I'm glad you brought that up because it's very frequent. I'm working with a group, and then inevitably the group says, well, it would be wonderful if I could work with my spouse on this. And in Carrie's case, we've just assessed her husband, and we've actually, I'm really proud of you for bringing those up, because we started working on those exact differences here this week, talking about how those work for you, and bringing up the husband as far as he's the one that kind of reins it in, brings it in. But you joked a minute ago about the breaks. I have no breaks. I have no breaks, right? Can you talk about that for a second? Because ideation, right, it wants to go. I've got to keep moving. I want that. But you do have input, right? You are thinking about, I've got to glom as I go. I know you as very energetic, very moving, right? But I do laugh when you say I don't have breaks, because like our one-on-one, I probably got, I don't know, 2 sentences in during most of that one-on-one, right? In a great way. They were all really good sentences, because I love hearing your take on how this reads. How does the lack of breaks affect you, right? Or if you need to break, what are you stepping into? How does that work for you?
I'm learning to, try to take longer breaths between sentences. But yeah, I mean, the bottom 5 are discipline, deliberative, harmony, consistency, and relator. So I don't have a lot of breaks. So that only intensifies the ideation and the arranger and makes it want to, move faster.
Right.
So
I'm curious about, okay, so you're an HR director at a bank, right? In this role, how does your ideation show up? Like, are you meant to be the idea generator, bring it to the team? Is it part of your responsibility? How does that impact your work of having all these ideas?
Well, there's kind of, 2 ways people approach HR. We have people in the profession that are very administratively focused, and they're very rigid and very consistent, and they're not really the people-centered HR folks.
Right.
And then we have the strategy-oriented, culture-driven individuals. So I would put myself in that second bucket. And so I think that the ideation and the strategy and the learner, and then trying to win others over, right, plays very strongly into my senior level role, because I'm trying to move our bank forward to, and then a better future, right? So just putting all those things together, the ideas that I have, I try to bring them forward to the rest of the group. So I use them a lot. And Bill and I were just talking about this the other day, though. One of the things that I think probably people with ideation struggle with, especially if you're as outgoing as I am, is that we don't need to communicate every idea out of the gate. Because it's not fully fleshed out, and it can create chaos in other people's minds. Right? So they might look to me like, oh my gosh, he's just like all over the place.
What do you want me to do, Carrie? What are we doing?
What? Yeah. You have so many ideas, and they're not moving as fast, and they're not in, we don't have Neuralink yet. We're not plugged into each other yet. So if they could, plug into my brain, they would understand that I have a strategy and I do have a thought process of how it's going to go down, but they don't know that. So I need to refrain from sharing every idea that pops into my head that I think is an amazing idea that we should, think about. I'm also a big collaborator. So that makes me want that individualization. I want to get with other people and see what they think about my idea, because I care about them. So
I sometimes see in my coaching, I don't know if you work with anyone like this, the ideation people and the activator people can get a little crossed, because an ideation person can be like, we should do this, this, and this. And the activator's like, okay, I guess we're doing this. Let's go. And then this ideation person's like, no, I didn't say we should do those things. I'm saying we could do those things, because activator's like, okay, let's go now. Ideation's just like, I got a bajillion ideas. And so if you have anyone on your team that's at activator, it's like, okay, ideation needs to really preface any sort of verbal vomit of ideas with, we're not doing this today, but here's something to think about. Otherwise, you might send your activators on a wild goose chase and be like, no. Why did you just spend a whole day working on that? We are not actually doing that yet.
Yes.
If you're on the video, there's a kitty cameo.
For our listeners, the cat just attacked the microphone in our podcast studio.
No, she came to give me a kiss.
He came to kiss you. He's a lover. He is a lover. So.
It's adorable.
Oh my God, that's
that
funny.
Was adorable.
I had no idea that was coming.
I think that cat is an activator.
I think so.
Like, I'm sorry, is there a mic here? Did you need me?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly.
So Carrie, building on what Sarah's saying, has there been an instance where maybe you've noticed you over-ideated and someone took it wrong? Or you maybe pushed something out and you were like, hey, let's maybe think of this, and that affected how they took that information? Has that played out for you?
Yes, it has. It did happen recently with a colleague that I respect very, very well. I mean, this person is an amazing colleague to work with. And I was trying to convey some of my ideas that I could see as opportunities for improvement that she would potentially lead. And, well, let's just say I should all over her.
I hate shooting.
So from an emotional intelligence perspective, I didn't communicate it in a way that was as open as, it could have been. So that was, my first learning opportunity is don't shit. Nobody wants to be shit on, right? You should do this. You should do that. If I came at it in a different way, it might have been a little bit different. But it was truly with the best of intent to share ideas of how we could do improvements for our bank overall and our employee workforce structure and things like that. And it did get taken in correctly. But this colleague and I have a great relationship. And so we were able to talk it through and so.
What you're saying totally reminds me of intent and impact, right? We judge ourselves by our intent and other people are judging us by our impact on them. And if we are not clear about our intent, you're right. Like the rails get crossed. This is one of the reasons I love CliftonStrengths. And one of the things I tell clients all the time is use this language to empower your conversations and open up the window to your intent. And so even like in a situation that you were in, even saying to someone, okay, I'm having an ideation moment. Can I share them with you? And signaling, this is not things that I think we should do, we need to do. This is not me telling you something is wrong. I have high ideation, so I have a bajillion ideas right now. Are you in a place where I can just ideate, dump on you, knowing like take the good, but don't take anything personal by it. And then that is like the window to your intent. And so that way the impact can be changed. And that's why I love having the CliftonStrengths language, is because it helps us, I think, show people who we are and what we mean. And it gives us language to do it with.
Absolutely. That is fantastic advice, Sarah. And I really appreciate you putting it in that frame of reference, because I will, as my learner, apply that and use that going forward. I think that's really, really fantastic. The individual had to work through and knew it wasn't my intent, but was reminding themselves that it wasn't my intent. It wasn't my intent because they know me,
right? But
it hit wrong. And so, I really appreciate you sharing that. That's a really good tip. to use the language of where I'm coming from.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would look at this in a slightly different way, or if we're gonna pivot the topic a hair from, you have high individualization, you obviously have high woo. I think our listeners can hear that, and we're talking about ideation as well. We joked a little bit about you. You're a reformed, consummate people pleaser. You're somebody that you felt filled that role for a long time, and those strengths right there could certainly lead you into that role about how you step in and work with people and how you're always willing to try to please. But that's a little bit in contrast with the scenario you just gave us of, hey, I just ideated, but I didn't people please. I actually, I was counter to people pleasing, and we point out frequently in Gallup that, weakness is anything that stands in the way of a strength. And from a strength point of view, if your strength was to try to get her to think about some way she might move forward, but not necessarily act, that was a weakness for you. That actually turned into a weakness moment.
Right.
So I'm curious, where is the pivot for you, or how did you step out of the people-pleasing role that you joked so adequately about early on, from a reformed people pleaser, and stepped into the corporate world? Because people-pleasing isn't always super accurate or effective in the C-suite, or moving as a director. So where do you think that pivot is for you? Or have you fully made it? Are you still the people pleaser that turns it on, turns it off? I don't know. I'm curious your thoughts.
I think I'm a lot more aware of it now. So I can pull myself back quicker. There are moments where I reflect back on a situation, and I think, that maybe I was a little bit leaning in that direction. But I've found that it doesn't serve me or my department well when I'm doing that. And I'm actually doing people a disservice if I'm not being as truthful and honest as they deserve to hear in a kind and loving way, right? People should be told the truth. They should be given feedback. They shouldn't be given, we shouldn't spend time tickling people's ears to make them feel good. We shouldn't be agreeing to their ideas if they don't align with the business strategy that we're trying to move forward with. It just took me some time to mature out of it and to, I guess, self-talk, some of that self-talk, making sure that you're reminding yourself that, your voice counts and you don't have to give away yourself or your belief, right? My belief.
Yeah. Belief, number 10 for you.
Yeah. So not giving that away to other people.
And what I'm hearing when you say that, it's not helping the people around me, is sometimes when I'm in that role. That responsibility, number 9 for you. I hear that so much in that statement of, I need to be the best I can be. I don't want to let this group down. So I need to modify something I'm doing. Do you think that's responsibility stepping up for you? Would that theme rise at that point, or is there something else in that?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that it's the responsibility, right? Yeah, that has risen up, and a stronger belief in myself, right?
Good point.
Yeah. And I feel like it's funny because you have harmony at 32. And if I didn't see your strengths and hearing your description, I would think, oh, where's harmony? So it's funny to see it at the bottom, right? But what I think what sort of is sounding like your people pleasing era was harmony. What I would guess it is that woo. Right? Because woo wants everyone to like you. And sometimes if we feel like we're criticizing people, then will they like me? Does that feel right?
100%. I kind of call it like, it's like a hangover people pleasing moment almost, if you want to call it that, because, I can I'll step into I'll lean into a difficult conversation. I will have those discussions with individuals, and then later in the day, that woo hangover sets in, and then it's like you kind of replay the incident in your head, and then, could I have done it differently? And then you start to question yourself. And so I would say that, that's really kind of the point that I'm, when I get stuck, that's where I'm at now is that hangover part.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily in the moment. It's after the fact.
Yeah.
And then trying to remind myself that I have, I'm competent and have the confidence, and to not just to get those negative thoughts out of my head.
Yeah. And I hope I'm hitting on the point here. I'm thinking about, I always say Brene Brown's quote of clear is kind, and sometimes when we have to tell people like hard truths or critiques or give feedback that maybe isn't exactly what we think they want to hear, it's the thing they need, right? It's the thing that will help them. And I was just talking to my 7-year-old son about something. My poor children live with a coach, so I'm constantly like, oh, this is a learning opportunity. There's never not talking in here. And I was telling him about one of my teachers when I was in high school. Her name was Mrs. Koopman, and she was the hardest teacher at my school. She would not let anything go. She was strict. She would tell you exactly what you needed to hear, and you were afraid of her. And when I look back, she was the best teacher I ever had. She was 100%. Exactly what I needed, right? And the teachers who were nice, who we all liked at the time, you could get anything by them. What did I really learn most of the time? Right. Mrs. Koopman, though, she held our feet to the fire. She told us what we needed to hear, not what we wanted to hear. She took it very seriously, but she cared deeply about us. And I think she was a great example of clear as kind. And looking back, she might not have been my best friend teacher, but she was the best teacher. She was the most impactful. So I think it's also, as those woo people pleasers of us out there, or even the hangover version of it, it's like reminding yourself, what is your role here? Are you trying to be their best friend? Are you trying to be their supervisor? Are you trying to be their mentor? Are you trying to be their coach? And in those roles, sometimes you have to put woo in the trunk and be like, shh, sorry, baby, you don't get to come out to play today, because the role here is not for you to be the best friend. The role is for you to offer something more to this person, which is truly the kindest thing you can do in this role.
Yes. And leaving people with, that individualization. I always try to look at each and every situation. I look separately, right? And look at that person as their own individual. And maybe, what I'm talking to them about, is it's going to be different for each and every person. But leaving them with kindness and respect is so important. I mean, we can be truthful and we can give constructive feedback, but it doesn't need to be in a hurtful way.
Yeah.
Civility is really important, and I think we need to really focus on that.
I agree. And I think when you know a leader truly cares about you, they see you and they have deep care for you, you can receive that feedback more openly. Because if you feel like my leader doesn't even see me, they don't really even know me, and they sure as hell don't care about me, this person couldn't give two craps if I was here tomorrow or not. They would just replace me with someone new. When that person gives you feedback, you don't take it because that opinion means nothing to you. It feels like, well, you don't even know me anyways. Sure, give me some feedback, but like, what does it matter? So if you're a leader listening to this and you have important feedback to give your people, remember, unless you see them and you deeply care for them, that feedback may not actually penetrate their brain, because people need a relationship in order to have some of that growth.
Yeah. And it's also important to let people experience their emotions based on, what their talent themes are, right? They're going to, whatever you're saying to them is going to hit them differently. Each person is going to, I could say X, Y, and Z to one person, and I could say almost the same thing to another person if it was the exact same situation. And depending on how their personality makeup is, they will hear and react differently. I just had an employee come to me and, we had a difficult feedback conversation, and the response that I got was not super positive during the conversation. But I remained calm and caring and kind and tried to reiterate where, I was coming from. And I just had a conversation with this person yesterday, and they thanked me and said that they, were apologetic for the way that they reacted. And it was like, it's okay. We're all individuals. We're all going to take things differently. Sometimes people just need more time to process.
Yeah. We have those moments where, we don't say the things that make us the proudest. Right.
Yeah.
And how good is it that we can reflect on that and be mature enough to admit it, to talk about it. Leading to that component and that question, all of us have woo very high. And Sarah and I have joked previously on the podcast about if someone doesn't like us, that tears us up, right? There are times we're like, oh man, right? How do I not, what did I do? Right. I take it very personally sometimes. Yeah. And you have woo very high, but you're in a tough position. You're an HR director that has to dole out some bad news sometimes and has to be really honest with a variety of people. Do you take it, did you take it hard when people didn't instantly gravitate to you? Did you have that same moment Sarah and I joke about, but only semi-joke about because it's very true in our world? And how do you deal with that from an HR director point? And leading directly to our question, do you ideate on it really heavily and keep thinking, how could I do this better? How could I step in? What am I doing wrong? Is your ideation on fire at that point too? So, do you take that personally, and how does ideation fit into that?
Yeah. So I do have a tendency to get stuck sometimes in taking it personally. And I have to use a lot of that internal dialogue to remind myself that, this is my role. This isn't personal. I'm doing the best I can to be kind and caring and truthful. And, our job as HR professionals is to walk a very fine line between supporting the organization and its success, but also supporting the employees and helping to lift them up and grow in very dynamic and significant ways, and hopefully retain them and have them with us for a long time. We are in that pivotal position because we're directly working with the C-suite and we're directly working with the employees. And so I think that it does, I kind of bunny trailed a little bit there, but yes, it does. It is hard when you're trying to please both sides, I guess is what I'm saying. You're trying to walk that fine line, and that is challenging. And you're not going to make everybody happy all the time. People aren't always going to like you. And that woo, it does kind of sink my heart because I want the best for people. And when they don't see it that way, it does hurt my heart.
Sure.
So,
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
The things you're doing aren't always feel like the best for people at that second because you realize how tough that is for them.
Yeah. There was one other thing that you said that reminded me, what does your ideation get in the way of helping you out with that?
Yeah.
I'll just share a quick story. When I started one of my previous roles, when I re-entered the workforce, I took some time off to raise my kids and homeschool them and did some things. And so when I re-entered the workforce, I was just on fire for just jumping back in. I was so excited to be back into HR. And I started with Harley Davidson Financial Services, and great group of people, 250 people. And the previous HR professional was polar opposite from me, polar opposite. And I didn't take any time, no breaks, to really like figure out that difference between how that person was and me coming in. And I just got myself a big bucket of red vines and I just started walking the floor and introducing myself to everybody on 3 floors with a big bucket of red vines, which was hilarious. And everybody was like, who is this HR lady with giving out candy? Because the other lady was in her office all the time. And so some people thought it was great, but other people just thought that was a little odd.
I am really hoping that we get Red Vines as a sponsor to send us at least a couple buckets of Red Vines for this call out, and how as an HR professional you should use those. That's a good tie-in.
I asked LinkedIn, when a new idea hits you, what's your first move? And we must have a lot of ideation people on our LinkedIn, because 77% said share it out loud. 15% said run with it now. 8% said park it for later. And 0% said ignore and refocus.
Wow.
Carrie, that's got to feel good, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's right.
Exactly.
So people, they're sharing their ideas.
That's good.
I also wonder, I would love this question broke down by generations. I would be curious if boomers versus Xers, millennials, Gen Z, if they have differences on how they share ideas. I also wonder how social media impacts this, because, you know, we didn't necessarily say work ideas. So are people assuming we're sharing it out loud at work, or is it like, I'm just going to post it on my social media? I have an idea. Here it is. Or are we texting people? You know, like there's a lot of safer ways, safe in quotes, I'll say, of sharing ideas in this day and age. Thoughts?
Well, I mean, I would jump in and just say there are really good ways to say that, but I think the best way to share that information and get it out is with red vines. I just think red vines are mission critical now in my strategy. Carrie, your thoughts?
I don't know. I've moved on from red vines, the red dye, until they change that.
There we go.
She's into peanut M&Ms now. She's doling out the good stuff. So yeah.
I'm sorry, I lost the question. What?
You
threw me off with the red vines.
I know. We're just talking about the LinkedIn poll. When a new idea hits you, what's your first move? And 77% said share it out loud. Are we surprised?
Right. I am. I'm a little. But then again, I don't have super high ideation, so I don't share mine out loud, right? I tend to chew on it, think about it, make it happen. Carrie, I think you're going to hit us with, no, we're sharing those out loud each and every time.
Yeah, I think of like authenticity too when I think about sharing ideas, and the tie-in there for me is there's a lot of talk out there for people to be their authentic self, and that would encourage people to share their ideas. Like, oh, I'm my authentic self. I'm going to share my ideas. All that, you know, this is who I authentically am. So I'm going to share. Right. And I think authenticity is exceptionally important, but I think there's a scale or a range, right? Depending on the context and the environment that you're in, as to whether that level of authenticity is going to serve you well or not. So I would say, depending on what context you're talking about, think twice about whether or not you should just share your ideas.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of times on social media, I'll be like, typing stuff out, and I'm like, I'm going to share this. And then I'm like, mine.
I'm out. I don't need to send that. Yeah. Well, Gallup will back up your authenticity claim and saying, obviously, when we're looking at recognition and how often it needs to come out and where it happens. Gallup will be very honest and say, if it's not authentic, if you're not genuine about it, don't do it. It's actually worse to be inauthentic and fake some recognition than to not do it at all. I think that certainly ties into your claim about there's a range, right? But you have to be authentic about what it is. I can't just come into somebody that I think really dropped the ball and go, you did great on this one thing, because they're going to read that as, well, really? Did I? Because that just doesn't fit. And they sense that in me. They sense it in themselves. We brought up, somebody came back to you, Carrie, and was like, thank you, so much for yesterday. Or let's talk about how that interaction happened. Or Sarah, the best teacher was the one that I didn't think was that one. We know instinctually inside when we drop the ball in those ways. And if we get false recognition, not justifying that, I think I know it's definitely hurting for me. And I think our Gallup research pulls that out there as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And speaking of things that don't motivate or things that do motivate, so Carrie, I want to ask you this. When are you experiencing your fireworks moments? When are you firing on all cylinders and everything's going great? And what theme is at play when that's happening for you? Which one do you think really rises to the top and you're lost in your flow? What does that look like for you?
Probably learner. I'm best in the morning.
Okay.
That's definitely a thing. I have, a lot of energy in the morning. I think the clearest in the morning. If that's what you were getting at, like time of day.
But if you've lost time in the course of a day and everything has just gone super well, right? Is it learner? Is it that you've learned something new? Is that what's pulling you through that? Or is it you're thinking of the future? Or have you wooed it up with a bunch of people? Like, if you've really hit on all cylinders, which one do you think is causing that for you?
Well, probably woo plays a lot into that.
Sure.
Because I am a very outgoing person as well. You asked your first question at the beginning was, what drives you first thing in the morning, right?
Sure.
And you said music.
Yeah.
The first thing that came to my mind is people saying good morning.
Oh. Interesting.
So my office currently is the first one in the building. And I really appreciate when people, walk by and say good morning. When people just kind of come in and don't do that, and not that people have to say good morning every time or
but
all
how
the time.
nice is it when they swing by? And yours, I joked with Carrie yesterday. I saw her for a little bit and I said, if you ever leave that office, that's my office, because that office is gorgeous. It's right in the corner of this beautiful third story of the building, and it is big. It is nice. It's got its own breakout area for meetings. Carrie, I'm sorry, I just have to apply for your job if you decide you got to go. And I unqualified. I'll make anything up just to get into that office. It is beautiful.
Funny. It is I'm very fortunate, very blessed. That's a beautiful office. It's very true.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's look on the flip side. So having people say hello, and that does fire up that woo, right? Gives you some firework moments. But now we ask about the other side of it. If you're really having a hard day, if you're living life and it feels like you're in the dumpster fire instead of the fireworks, which themes do you think are getting in your way? What do you think is standing in front of you that, man, I'm just really having a hard time getting over that?
The ones from my top or anywhere,
whatever you think, whichever ones you think are getting in your way.
Yeah. I mean, because of just all the, ideation and wanting to move forward and everything, when I'm having to do a lot of task driven, responsibilities and things that are redundant, I get bored very easily. And so I think, I don't know, what theme is that, guys? I mean, the consistency.
Well, a
maybe?
ranger would love the change in things with the ideation and the futuristic. So, and you have consistency, deliberative, and discipline all in your bottom 5. So it would tell me that you don't want monotony throughout your day.
Right.
Yes.
And
so,
generally monotony removes people. I'm doing something repetitively and I'm just doing it alone. And for you, not fueling that woo and not having someone around you to say good morning or great job
That's
or
right.
hey, just, I get it. Right. And so, it could be that if you've been forced into a monotonous role, the woo is part of the dumpster fire because it's just not getting fed. Right. I'm not grabbing it and I'm not learning anything new because this is a monotonous task that I am just literally hitting the button.
Yeah. And then there's no need for my ideas because I just have to do these exact things and there's no room for improvement.
Right. Yes. And working for a bank is heavily compliance driven and audit driven.
Yeah.
So when I get those things pushed on me, that's just a dumpster fire. That's just not.
That's when
just not.
Dumpster fire is all over it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I'm fortunate that I'm in the middle of looking for an assistant because, to your point, Bill, I currently am a department of 1, and that doesn't fuel my passion to move things forward and collaborate and have be a team. And I mean, I have a team, but they're busy doing their things in their own departments, right?
Sure.
So I will be looking for somebody that's completely the opposite of me.
An executor. You need someone who is loving to get things done.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to apply just so I could hang out in your office every now and then, but now I can't.
Yeah, you're not qualified for this job. I don't think.
I am not. I too much woo, too much people time. Carrie and I are going to sit in there and just tell everybody good morning and pass out M&Ms as they cruise through. So, no, I get it, Carrie. Oh, yeah. That's really well put. And thanks for sharing when that dumpster gets in your way, because it's we all do it, right?
Everyone has one.
I struggle with all sorts of my themes sometimes, and been real honest on the show about how I feel like they've tripped me up. So
it's funny because most people would say, "Oh my gosh, you're an HR professional and your consistency is that low." Like, oh, that's not good. But I think that I'm very aware of that, and so I do look to make sure that I'm compensating for that floor. And then I do try to use some of those other strengths to kind of bring up that skill set. So thinking strategically, but it allows me to be an out of the box thinker and come up with creative ideas so that we're not doing things the way that they've always been done. We know that.
Yeah. And I think Sarah hit that on the head a little bit ago when she said, I really see the arranger. If it's not the consistency for you, it's the arranger. And arrangers can pivot pretty easily, but they still put everything in a really good timeline and understand how that timeline plays out. So I see that in you. And just I've only worked with you now for a little while on the strength side of it. And that I think that arranger is a big, big part of what you do and how you succeed.
Yeah.
So. Excellent.
Well, Carrie, this has been excellent. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and talking about your ideation and all of your top 10 strengths with us today. We appreciate having you on.
Well, thank you very much. It's been an honor, and it's just been so much fun. You guys are great.
Well, I get to hang out and watch her become I don't know what she wants to do next. Maybe more coaching at Heritage,
Take
right?
Over the
Travel.
world, I think.
I think she just needs to get on a stage and drop a mic a few times. So I think that's what she needs to do. So, all right. Well, Carrie, thank you so much. We loved having you on today, talking about where you're going, what you're doing, and ideation. Is it an overload, or do you need to act? I don't know that we have a great consensus yet, but I do think we got every idea we need to talk about. At least our poll seems to push us in that direction. So, Carrie, thanks for leading us today. Thanks for leading the charge, telling us how it works, and bringing some great ideas to the ideation episode. So, loved having you here. Loved our arsonists. Love everyone listening in. And with that, we will talk soon.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on Strengths on Fire. If today's conversation sparked something in you, be sure to subscribe, share, and leave a review. We're here bringing you fresh insights to fuel your growth and ignite your potential. Remember, your strengths are powerful, so let's keep the fire burning.
And if you're looking to transform your organization through strengths-based strategies and coaching, reach out to Sarah Collins, founder of Collins Collective, or Bill Dipple, founder of Bill Dipple Strengths Coaching. Connect with Sarah at wearecollinsco.com, follow her on Instagram at sarahcoachcollins, or email her at sarah@wearecollinsco.com, SARAH. You can reach Bill at billdipple.com, Bill, DIPPEL.com, or on Instagram at BillDippleCoach, or email him at bill@billdipple.com.
Please note the opinions, views, and interpretations of CliftonStrengths expressed in this podcast are solely those of the hosts and the guests. They have not been approved, sanctioned, or endorsed by Gallup in any way.
Until next time, keep your strengths on fire and let's light up what's possible together. Bye, Bill.
Bye, Sarah.